and a full house. I was in the flies pulling the scenery up and down, my technician was on the switchboard, and all of a sudden things started to go wrong. The switchboard crashed, half the lights failed, I put the wrong scenery in without knowing, and it was general mayhem. And then someone actually said to me, "Have you said good morning to Aunt Pet?" Well, both me and Justin had said, "Oh no, we haven't." It started to go right from there on. Now, again, it's one of those things, but we've now got the habit of saying good morning or good night to Aunt Pat.
But will Aunt Pat make her presence known to the team? As the Ghost Watch continues, investigator Andy Matthews gets a strange calling to the stage.
Well, I was sitting up in the control room and I suddenly got the impression that I should go downstairs with this digital camera. I don't know why. So I did that, walked onto the stage, put my arms out and said, "OK, if there's anybody here, can you possibly let me know that you are here?" So I thought, OK, I'll give it a bash. And I stood there, and first I pointed the camera to stage right, then I pointed it to stage left. Then I had a complete change of direction, took 2 steps back over here, stood here, took another 2 steps back, and fired off a shot, expecting obviously nothing. But we got 3 orbs. Quite incredible. I don't know how it happened. It's can be a bit spooky, can't it? Or, you know, we don't know what's going on. But
so, what was the feeling you got that made you think that? I don't know.
It was nothing. It was just popped into my head. I'm going to go downstairs and take a photograph. It's difficult to explain this type of thing. You know, it just hits you like an idea does sometimes, and you just go with your own instincts. And I felt that I had to come down here with a digital camera and try it out. And hey presto, there we go. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that.
What's the theory about orbs? What are these balls of light, or what might they be?
Well, the main theory is that they're the what's left of the human spirit. Once the body and flesh, blood and bone dies, that's the energy part of the human spirit that survives and goes on to heaven knows where. It's just the energy. It's just an energy ball. That's as much as we can dare to hazard a guess at, really. I don't think it's camera phenomena. I don't think it's dust. If it is dust, they're very intelligent pieces of dust. They just seem to pop up, not on command, but 9 times out of 10, if a sensitive feels that there's one there and a shot is taken, especially on Digicam, then 9 times out of 10 they're going to get a result, and I can't explain that. It's one of the great fascinating parts about doing this kind of work. The more you do it and the more evidence you see, the more you want to carry on and find out what is actually going on.
Andy is convinced that the orbs are no camera trick, but some experts suggest that they are a common feature with the lenses of digital cameras that are super sensitive to reflections and rogue light sources.
I've got another one.
Other investigations have also shown the orbs to be particles of dust. But who better to know about the paranormal at the theatre than those who work there day and night? Richard Thomas is the technical director of this theatre, and for the most part, he and the rest of the staff coexist with the ghosts. They're just part and parcel of the job. But not all ghosts are benign and friendly. Late one night, Richard was closing down the theatre. Nothing unusual, same routine every night. But something struck him as unusual that night. Richard first noticed that 5 of the theatre seats all in a row were down, as if sat on by 5 invisible friends. From a distance, he just assumed the seats needed oiling. But as he drew closer, he could hear the sound of the rustling of feet and the creaking of floorboards. His bravery waned as he got closer, edging slowly towards the seats. And when he was just feet away, the seats suddenly flipped up with a massive clap. Richard was paralyzed with fear. He tried to rationalize the situation, coming to the conclusion that the vibrations from the old building must have caused them to suddenly free themselves. But as he walked past the seats, he noticed a chill in the air, a coldness in just 5 seats. He could contain his fear no more and backed away from the seats slowly. And as he did so, his eyes fixed on the 5 seats. 4 of them flipped back down, slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Richard froze, his eyes fixed on the fifth seat. He backed off again, and suddenly the seat flew down with such force that the whole row of seats shook and the clatter echoed through the darkened theatre. He ran as fast as he could, leaping over seats in his efforts to escape. He swears to this day that he could hear guffaws of laughter from behind him. Compared to some of the theatre's visitors, though, Richard was rather lucky. Oh yes, he was rather lucky.
Because I've got you under my skin, and I like you under my skin.
So far, video cameras have yet to record any trace of the Theatre Royal's ghosts. But another clairvoyant member of the team arrives, Paul Hanrahan. He appears to make contact with Sarah, one of the theatre's most reported ghosts.
If I'm not careful, I'm going to go into trance, and I don't want that to do that now. So can I stop, please? Sorry.
But can they really communicate with the dead? Join us later. The ghost detectives are on the case at the Theatre Royal in Margate and are hoping to find a ghost of one of its more celebrated actresses, Sarah Thorne. Before arriving at the theatre, another member of the team, clairvoyant Paul Hanrahan, claims to have had a premonition about Sarah. But what would he feel now?
So this is the first time I've been in this building. I feel something's happened in this building which has brought sadness. I don't know what. It's just that as you walk in here, there's a feeling that hits you in emotionally of a loss of some sort. And I feel it's feminine sort of energy. That's all I've got at the moment. I'll let you know what else I get as I'm going around.
But could the feminine energy be Sarah's?
Ooh.
Sarah Thorne dedicated her whole life to the stage, and in particular the Theatre Royal here in Margate. In 1885 she opened a school of acting here and ran it with an iron fist until her death of influenza in 1899. For 14 years she was the theatre's lifeblood, and it is said that Sarah has never been able to leave the place that she loved. But is it possible for Paul to detect Sarah's ghost after all this time?
And I want to go back just over 100 years. That's what I'm being told. Go back just over 100 years to place this lady. And she's telling me she would have worked here, so she wouldn't have been somebody who visited to watch something. She's telling me that she would have worked here or had some connection to this building.
Unhappy that modern students are failing her standards, she has her own way of ensuring that discipline is maintained. During a rehearsal in 1934, Sarah's apparition appeared in a circle, moaning and groaning at the performance. The dumbstruck cast stared in awe as the ghostly figure rose to the ceiling, and one of the dancers fainted in terror.
She's bringing a lot of emotion with her.
What sort of emotion?
It's emotion, just emotion, deep emotion. I don't know whether it's